So welcome back. Now we are into part two. So in this training, you're actually gonna be able to listen to the live sales call. So again, this was edited down, not the actual sales call, but the how we train this on the live. So without further ado, I'm gonna send it over back to the Facebook Live, and then you can listen to the live $3,000 sales call close. So.
This is a contact sport. We got to speak to these business owners in order to get them to say yes or no and to pull out their credit card and buy. And so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and play the call for you guys.
So yeah, we had a chance, looked over the demographics of city and things look good. So, I mean, based off of, I'm willing to guarantee our services.
Now, I just want to stop for just 1 second. I want to remind everyone that you do a two-step phone call. It's not something I've ever done, but you do it. Can you explain why you do a two-step?
So, I mean, the guy that I learned this from, who ran basically a very similar model to this, he was doing over $500,000 a month with this model. And he said, listen, Mike, I tried this way and I've tried the two-step. And he said, even with his sales reps, the two-step converted higher. And the analogy he gave is like, even if they're coming off of an ad or a cold email, they don't know you, right? So he said, going for the ultimate kill on the first date, he said it will work better if you just do a quick 10-minute call. And he said, literally that 10-minute call has to be in the frame of, are they a good fit for you? Like, and that's really what I do on that first phone call is, some of these guys you don't even want to make a pitch to. So that's the way he told me to do it that way. I did do one call closes in the mortgage niche. I did find that to work a little bit better because they're just so used to buying leads that it was like, it didn't make sense to drag it out. But with almost every other niche that I was in, it was just a quick 15-minute phone call and literally get to know the guy. And then there's something about like having those two different meetings, like you speak to him again, hey, how was your day? Which I cut out of this to try to make this a little smaller. But I always start off with small talk. So I was like, hey, Greg, how's it going? Like, how have you been? What's gone on since yesterday? How blah, 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 right? And then I go right into this where we're at right now. But that's the reason why I do the two-step is just so that it does soften up that second phone call. Yep. So it's more of like it's a second date, not a one-night stand.
So one question before we hit it too hard with more, I do understand the value of the trust you're building when you say, hey, I want to make sure I can deliver since we do guarantee our leads, and I know probably a lot of people are asking the question like, well, how do you guarantee your leads? And one question was, did you test the market before pursuing it? So can you speak on that for just a moment?
No. So the way that I got into this market was, again, I started running Facebook ads for a lot of different markets. And I kind of knew in the back of my head, hey, it's never going to cost me more than $50 to generate a lead. Really never going to cost me more than 25. If you have a decent offer. So I did take a bit of a risk when I got out in this market, but I said, hey, I'm going to try to sell leads at $50. I think I sold them at $60. I sold 40 leads at $3,000, I believe is the close off on this one. So, which is, what's that? 3,000 divided by 40. So I sold them for $75 a lead. And this was one of the first calls that I did in this niche. So I knew like $75, I mean, you got to take a little risk on to differentiate yourself. So my thinking was, hey, he's going to give me the money up front. If after the first couple leads using my Facebook ad system, if I'm spending over $75, I'm just going to say, hey, man, I started running the ads and here's your money back. But I knew I just took a calculated risk being like, I think I get these leads. And you'll see in one of the screenshots that at the end of the day, I was able to generate leads for, on average for this market, about $30. So you can see the profit margin, generating for 30, selling for 75. You're making a pretty decent profit on each client that you bring on. So that was my thinking. I had never run ads. I didn't do a test. It was just, let's go, let's sell high, and then let's run the ads. And that's when you understand how to run these ads, That's the confidence you'll have after you do it in a couple of niches. You'll kind of know that, hey, if I set up an ad with an offer to a marketplace and I backwards engineer the other offers in the marketplace that are working, you're not going to spend ridiculous amounts for a lead. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me. I think that also the culmination of when you're building a lead gen property, and we're ultimately going to rank this thing organically. I kind of look at it like this graph of like right off the bat, this is your ad, like your ads might be bringing in the leads right off the bat, and they're what allows you to say some of the things you're gonna hear Mike say on the phone call, which we can't, unfortunately and fortunately, we can't say some of this stuff when we're just selling strictly rank and bank, number one on Google type leads like we do when we rank them to the top, because that takes time. There's some unpredictability about it a little bit, right? So it doesn't matter if you're doing ads or you're doing, rank and bank strategy like we're doing. You still got to be willing to take the risk of jumping into a niche that you don't necessarily know everything about. You're going to take some lumps. You're going to put some bad lead gens up sometimes. You're going to learn from those. You're going to put some good ones up sometimes. And that's how you find the gold, though. Gold miner never just goes out and on their first dig hits it. They got to take some risks, drill some holes, as I like to talk about in Tony Beats. And that's what it takes to find a gold miner or find that treasure, right? So I'm gonna keep it playing, try to shut up for a bit. I'll watch the questions on the right. If you got stuff, I'll stop. If you want us to answer any questions directly, I will stop and we'll talk about it. Let's keep going.
We started building out the campaigns last night, so let me kind of lay out on this call how everything works and what we can do for you. So you said the goal is 4 NeoGraph extra per location. That's kind of the goal currently. Tell me a little bit more about that so I can completely understand.
Well, I mean, if we were able to get 4, so let's just say we closed at 50%, 1 out of every 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, then in order to get 4 sales, we'd have to have 8 qualified leads per location.
Yep.
So it's only 16 bare minimum.
Got it. 16
Because,
bare
right,
minimum.
Right. My OV, what we call our office visit, that's when we don't make a sale.
Mm-hmm.
On the other products and services that we have, understanding that this is a larger average sale.
Yep.
Our sales percentages, we close 60%. So I figure it being a larger sale, we have financing available as well.
Anytime you guys hear someone close at 60%, tell them to raise their prices. They're leaving tons of money on the table.
Well, so that makes it less of a larger sale, and so I would say probably we cut that down. So let's just say we only close 4 out of every 10. Okay, so
Yep.
we have to have 20 gross leads in order to put 8 on the board.
Got it.
10
And
per
what would be
location.
10 per location? And what would be the impact of that on your business or extra?
Well, obviously, I mean, we talk about average sale of around $9,000, so that'd be what, $36,000 a clinic, gross profit, and probably a net profit of maybe, I don't know, probably going to net maybe 35%. So
Liar.
there you have it. That'd be
Sandbagger.
what, 10,000 net per month. I mean, depending on how much it costs to generate the lead. I mean, I don't know how much it costs to generate the lead.
So pause it. I'll explain what I was doing.
Yep.
So essentially, like the first part of this call, he's already told me the goal on the first phone call, which is he wanted 4 extra NeoGraph patients per location. So that's kind of how I started, which is like, I want him talking about his goal again. And I want to figure out, well, what does that mean to him? The question I asked is, so how does that impact your business if we're able to get 4 per month? I really just want him build up the value of his goal here and get it tangible. So the call we listened to the other day, that was what my advice to Yosef was. You got to get the tangible goal And once they have that, then everything becomes a lot easier. So I don't know if you have any other critiques on this, Dan.
No, I just think I love the setup of pulling out, whether they're sandbagging a little bit or not on their net. Again, someone that goes into this meeting, and I'm sure Mike after many of these meetings understood, he probably heard all different spectrums of net profits in this niche. But no matter what, when you guys have a clear understanding of the niche you're going into, because you went and did some research, you maybe talked to some other people in the market, you found a Facebook group or a Quora group, and you went in there and asked some questions like, hey, what's that? I'm thinking about getting into this industry. What's the net, generally speaking? You get some feedback from these people. This gives you a chance to go into a call like this, and if the guy's somewhere in the range, great. You don't need to say anything. If he's way high, you can shut your mouth. And, maybe he thinks his net's 80% and doesn't take into account his business expenses. You can just shut up. It gives you some understanding of who you're working with. Number two, it starts to anchor yourself on your offer when you get to the end of this call, because the guy simply said, look, hey, we close at about 60%. He needs to raise his prices, of course, but close at 60%. And my net's about 35. So depending on what it's going to cost the lead, it's going to put about 10K in our pocket. Seems quite low for that industry, but nevertheless, this gives Mike a great closing tool when he gets to the end of this call, if he even needs it. Let's keep going.
So I don't know, maybe $50,000 a month in net revenue, probably.
Got it. I mean, here was kind of the plan that I was thinking based off your numbers. So the kind of the rule of thumb is, we generate you 40 inquiries. Decent sales process, you guys are on top of the lead. That should be minimum 50% booking into appointments and consultations, up to 70%. So of the 40 inquirers that come in, as long as, you guys are calling them quickly because they are, filling in their details for a consultation and for the offer, which is up to $1,500 off NeoGraft. Obviously that's kind of the, the mechanism we get them to raise their hand. Out of those, so 40 inquiries, we'd expect to see 20 in. And then obviously if we get 20 in, you factor in about, let's say, 80% show rate. Some don't show. But out of those that come in, if you're closing half of those, we're looking at about, with an 80% show rate on 20, that's about 18. Or is it 16?
16.
Hold up.
So we should be able to get to the 8 with those numbers.
So I'm thinking those are the numbers there that's going to hit that for you.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
40, and let's just 40, down to 20, and then 20, you're looking at, let's say, 90, it's about 18 that show. Half of those close in the practice. Let's say we get 18 to come in. How many do you think you're going to close?
65%.
18, we're going to close at least 8.
At least 8. Okay, perfect. I mean, I think that's the numbers that do it there. So if that's something that I could do for you every month, guarantee those 40 inquiries, is that something that you'd want to do?
Stop. Okay. Textbook, what he's doing right here. What is he doing? He hasn't spoken about the price, right? He hasn't spoken about the price. He literally is getting a commitment right now to purchase. He used the numbers that the gentleman wanted for his business. He made sure he used the customer's numbers on, if I could, would you? If I could get 18, right? You're selling them 40 guaranteed NeoGraft leads. Is that correct for the month?
That's correct.
Okay, so he's selling them 40 guaranteed NeoGraft leads for the month. And he's essentially asking the business owner to let him know what numbers he hits on a consistent basis, and he's applying that mathematics to 40 leads that he's going to bring in, right? Obviously, no one knows if you're going to close 50%, 20%, 80% until you get your nose in there. It's a risk for everyone, everyone involved. Now, if you're deriving your leads from a lead gen property that you own free and clear, that you built, that took 60 to 90 days to get up and running, and that thing's pumping out these leads, and you have a pretty good idea that it gets 30, 40, 50 leads a month, you're in a really good situation. If your lead gen's only getting 20 leads a month, and then you tack on, Mike's strategies, and you could, put another 20 on, so you could see how mathematically, as you get good at this stuff, how you can make these equations work, and you can simply commit the business owner with their own numbers of what they're looking for in their business. So that's exactly what he just said. If I could do that, would that be something you're interested in? It's a soft commitment. Let's see what he says.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, obviously,
Okay, perfect.
how much it is an inquiry, but yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my kind of only concern, and I don't think I really have this concern with you, just 'cause I've been doing this for quite a while, is I just want to kind of stress the importance of this. I'm pretty sure you have this handled, but as far as generating the leads, we have some practices, and this won't work if you guys don't follow up quickly with these leads. These are leads from advertising. You know, they're not people actively searching for you. They're not, you know, referrals or people internally in the practice.
Just talk about that for just a minute. The difference between a search-driven lead and a lead that comes from an advertisement that they weren't necessarily searching for. It came flying through their newsfeed. Talk about that for a second, Mike.
Yeah. So, I mean, in every single buying cycle, it goes attention, interest, consideration, action, right? So, and there's this concept of traffic temperature. I think it's from Google themselves, but it's where they are on that spectrum, right? Like the best quality lead in the world is referral. Why? Because if I go to Dan, hey, Dan, you got to go to Mr. Kim's Korean barbecue, right? And he just like, he goes there, right? That he's already in that consideration phase. The consideration has been done from the referral. So when he shows up at Mr. Kim's, they don't even need to sell him, right? The next phase, which is the second best lead, which is usually from search or like the yellow pages, that's when someone's in the consideration phase. That's when they're typing in the Google, best Korean barbecue in Las Vegas, or they're doing some sort of search like best NeoGraph provider, right? That they're in the consideration phase. That lead is a lot easier to close than someone that's now in, if we go back to the interest phase, someone that's just interested or someone who's not even aware of it. So it goes awareness, interest, consideration, action. And when you do leads from like the search SEO leads, by far the best, right? What you guys are getting trained on, because most of those leads are in the consideration. When you do Facebook ads, it doesn't mean that it's a bad lead. It just means that the sales process needs a bit more work because they're now at the interest phase or they're just in the awareness phase. However, with search, there's only a limited amount. When it comes to leads from like Facebook or interruption, that's how you really scale and blow up a business, because you start creating demand. It's the difference between demand harvesting and demand generation. And, you know, as someone, you know, myself spent millions of dollars on Facebook ads, Dan, who spent, I don't know, tens of millions, and how you scaled a lot of your companies with paid advertising, you know, you will realize the lead, it doesn't mean the lead's worse. It's just, I'm trying to communicate at this point in the conversation to the business owner that this is the lead that is in that awareness and interest phase. They're not going to be like those consideration. And also what I'm doing here is I get him to commit textbook what Dan teaches. You know, if I could do that, would you want to do that? Right. So I said, if I could guarantee 40 inquiries a month, would you want to do that? Yes. Now I like to do a little takeaway selling, right? He's committed to me. That's why I back off. And I use this a lot on my calls you'll hear, which is, well, listen, my only concern is this. And then I come up with a concern, right? Because usually the only person doing that is a person that's taking away. Makes them desire the sale a bit more. So I just want to add in that little.
I heard that. I love that. I think that that's something that, you know, until you have done enough, you know, until you've been in enough presentations, until you've had enough, made enough offers, and, you know, met with so many different personality types, you'll quickly understand that the salesperson that's so they're burning so hot, they're just trying to close. Let's get to the deal. Let's get to the deal. Like you can feel the vibe that they're putting off. It's quite obvious, right? When you see a real pro, it's someone that's done it enough times, they realize that, look, I don't really know him and he doesn't really know me or whatever. And I got to like make sure I don't look too eager and I don't look like a rookie that's in need of money so bad. When Mike brings up that he has a concern, that is a signal on the other side almost to make the guy want to lean in a little bit more, like, well, hold on, bro. I thought you just said we could get 8 deals done. You know, it's going to put an extra XYZ on the books every month for us. And now you're pulling back. So it's a great dynamic for you guys to listen to. I want Mike. Will you quickly just give us that spectrum again of interest? Because I want to write that down. What was it?
Awareness is first, right? So first, someone's totally unaware of your offer, then they become aware of it. After they're aware of it, then they have to get interested. Once they're interested in that offer, like, hey, I know I want to go to Korean barbecue, then they're in the consideration phase. Then they finally take action.
Okay. And action would be them buying.
Yep.
Okay, great. And so essentially, just so everyone understands, like, this is really good information. Just for you guys to understand the difference in these different types of media, right? When that search is happening, this is why the leads that we get for customers are so valuable, because they were in that mode of, HVAC near me, or HVAC contractors in Vegas, or whatever it might be. They're in an absolute need, right? And so they're
consideration phase, yeah.
They're already past interest. They're in consideration. Yeah, they're considering who they're going to go with, right? So anyway, so let's keep moving.
So if you're not on top of these inquiries, again, we shoot to get 80 to 90% of them to come in during business hours to inquire.
Be on the phone with them within an hour. Within an hour of me receiving the leads, we'll be on the phone with them.
Slow.
Yep.
Okay. Is there that's a little long. Is 5 to 10 minutes is kind of the sweet spot. Yeah, for these.
Really?
I mean, you're like, yeah, if you've seen any of the studies, it's like if you get on the first minute, it's like a 400% increase in conversion. First 5 minutes is 300%, and then it dramatically goes down. So the call cadence that I recommend is once you get the note.
If I need to get on it quicker, I'll get on it quicker. I just got to figure out a way to deliver it that quick, that I can get on it that quick.
So the way that we do that is we give you the leads in real time with an email notification to everyone handling the leads, and then text message notifications.
Okay, that's good enough.
That way that you guys can do that. Now, if that is an issue for your staff, we do have another solution, which is basically every time someone fills in a lead, it'll actually call the office and then force them. It'll call the office, they'll pick up. They press number 2 on their phone, and it will call the lead out immediately.
Yeah, that's the game changer. I just posted for you guys the Harvard Business Review study from a few years back. It's in the comments section. I'll show it right there on the screen if you can kind of see it, but it's in the comments section on Facebook as well. That's a really great study. If you ever have a business owner that's complaining about, not closing the leads, they don't answer if it's a web lead or came through a contact form. It's a great study to kind of show them at the impact that speed of communication has in closing business. So let's keep moving there.
And then it will merge the 2 calls. So it forces them to get on them within 40 seconds. And that really does help. We don't really put that in right away. We only do that if there's an issue, but really what we recommend, first 5 to 10 minutes call. If they don't pick up, we do a double dial. So we call again, and then we call them within 20 minutes after they've submitted. If they don't pick up again, then we call them 2 to 3 hours later the same day. Those are best practices for any online leads, just because that's when they're hot. That's when they saw the ad, that's when they inquired. And then obviously we follow up every single day until we get a hold of them for the connection rate and booking them in for an appointment, up to 14 days. Then after that, we recommend kind of just stick them in your email system and nurture them, and we nurture them, which I'll tell you about in a second, through our ads online, our retargeting.
So I want to bring this up because I think this is important, especially if you're brand new. Listen, as I told you, Mike hangs out with a lot of the top marketers in the world, and obviously you pick up a lot of understanding. He reads a lot of books, studies a lot, and is a professional of the game of marketing, right? And if you're brand new, this is gold, right? This is gold. Or if this is stuff you're just learning for the first time, guys, I wish I would have learned this stuff much earlier on in my career because it has such a massive impact. But Mike is taking a consulting role. And if you notice what's happening, he's either cause or effect, right? We talked about that the other day, right? We know what he is on this. The gentleman on the other end of the line is effect. Mike is basically stating exactly what it is he needs to do in a very authoritative way. It's a good way because it sounds like Mike really knows exactly how his program works, which brings confidence to someone on the other side of it. When you hear the person that's selling you their goods or services is very clear in their understanding of how it rolls out, it makes you sleep well at night. It gives you confidence to buy from this person. So, as you guys are part of this program, again, we're not going anywhere. We'll be here a long time. If you just need to stick with this thing and understand this stuff, and you guys will start to be able to have conversations with high-end clients like this and put them at a subordinate level to you instead of the other way around, which I think a lot of people oftentimes are at because they're rookies, they're amateurs, they just got started, they're excited, but they don't have this wealth of knowledge that we're trying to pass along to you guys to make you the best players in the game. Let's keep going.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing I want to stress is like, you're not going to get, it's not going to work if they're on it slow. If they're waiting a day to book them in, we're not going to see the amount of appointments booked that we need to, I think, to make this work, and I don't think you'll get it to work with anyone doing this kind of form of advertising. However, if they're on top of it, if they're following what I, calling them right away, then you're going to make a whole bunch of money.
Okay.
Who doesn't love that?
Okay.
I can make it work.
Okay, perfect. So, I mean, if you based on everything you told me, I think it's a perfect fit. I mean, the fact that your sales guy, like I said, that's key. So, let me tell you about the service really quickly. Service in a nutshell.
So Mike got a commitment. The guy just soft committed. Yeah, but that's something we can do. So he's got a commitment now. Now it's time to move into his offer. Here's what you get, right? You do not pass go. You do not collect $200. You do not get to this point ever in a communication with a potential client until you've got that commitment. Why? Because they are not sold yet if they won't say, hey, yeah, based on everything you're hearing, yeah, this seems like a pretty good program. This seems like something I would do. Now let's talk turkey, right? If you're moving into pitch about why you do this and why you do that and why you can get them leads and da-da-da, and they're kind of like, I'm good, bro. Like, nah, I don't know if it's what I want. Why even go down the road? Why shoot yourself in the foot? Why make the offer? Your job at this point is to circle back. If he said, no, Mike, I'm not really sure this is something well, tell me a little bit more about that, right? Now you need to figure out what windows open in this house where the draft is getting in. Your job is always to close all the windows in the house before you move forward. So he's done that, and now it's time to make, the service offering of how it works, what you're going to get, and then what it's going to cost. Keep going.
Essentially, what we're doing, my own ads I've created. We place them multi-channel marketing, place them Facebook, Instagram, Google Display Network, and Twitter. We usually start with Facebook and Instagram. Those are kind of the workhorses. That's where the majority of the volume is. So we place my own ads that I've developed over the last 8 years. I think I'm one of the best people in this entire space of doing it. I know which may sound like hype, but the proof is I'm the only one offering a guarantee. So the way it works is we run them. The offer we run for NeoGraft is a free consultation plus an up to $1,500 off gift certificate. They respond to that. They fill in their name, their email, and their phone number into a form. On that form, it says fill in your information to book your free consultation to get your gift certificate, and a member from your team will call them to activate it. The minute they fill in their details in real time, we send you an email, so the leads get sent right to your inbox that says, hey, you have a new NeoGraft lead. And then we say, hey, the body of the email says, hey, you have a new NeoGraft inquiry. This person just filled in their details. Here's their name, here's their email, here's their phone number. That happens in real time. You'll also get text message notifications to anyone handling it, same kind of thing. You get a text, this is them, tap it on your phone, call them. In addition, you also get that Google Sheets, which we share, and that is a lead tracking sheet. So every time we generated a lead for you, an inquiry, it auto-populates into that tracking sheet. So you have every new patient opportunity goes in there, and that way you could see, I'm all about trackability. You could see down to the dollars and cents exactly how much this is working for you. So you can say, hey, we've generated 20 leads. What happened to this lead? That way we're trackable and transparent through the entire process. So it makes
Okay.
That is basically how we
making sure the guys following what he just said. So you see Mike stop, make sure he understands, gets another micro yes. Makes sense? Yep. Cool. Keep going, right? I know some people were asking, hey, wouldn't a game changer make the phone ring when the form fits to help them convert? Absolutely. If you heard Mike earlier, what he said was, depending on how you guys are getting back in touch with the people, we don't always install that. Gives you a chance for an upsell, at a future date if necessary. And if the customer complains,
that's actually what I did.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I could imagine that's what I would do too. So I'll keep it going. You don't want to, it's like, look, the guy's saying he can do it, and it's like, and then if he doesn't do it, who's to blame? Mike isn't. So hey, let's put in another system if we have to make this work better. You could toy with that. Everyone's going to be a little bit different, right? And the other thing that's great too is like you heard Mike kind of explain the rainbow of different things that they do. Still leaves some mystery. So he's not just a Facebook guidance guy or an SEO guy. He's got some mystery. We talked about that on Tuesday with Joseph. And so these are some of the things you hear him at work. You also hear his confidence, like Susan said. Mike qualifies that he's confident in his abilities and considers himself the best. Man, I tell you what, when I'm talking to someone on the phone and they're selling me something, I want to speak to the best. I paid $60,000 this morning, for a service, and the guy is the best. He's just the best. It's probably about 10 times more than I would have to spend anywhere else, but hands down, I've seen his work. He's the best. You could tell it, and he says he's the best. That confidence rings through. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, and notice how I backed it up with, every time I make a claim like that, I always want to back it up. So I said, and that may sound like hype, but I'm the only guy that offers a guarantee in this space. Now, the reason I'm able to make that I don't even know if anyone else is doing Facebook ads and Neograph when I was doing this phone call. So if you're the only guy, you are the best in the space, right? So that was another reason why I'm able to say that. I'm the best guy in the space, probably the only guy in the space. Or if you just make your offer unique enough, you are. And then if you're going to make a claim like that, I never like to make a claim like that without having, a reason why or a proof element, right? If you guys watch my proof elements, 11 proof elements of marketing, one of the proof elements is the guarantee. So that's actually exactly what I said to make the join a claim. You always join a claim with proof. So I'm the best. Proof is I'm the only one that offers a guarantee in this space. That's
Absolutely.
what I would add.
One thing too, someone just asked, hey, it'd be nice to have sales call analysis like prospecting closing every week in one of the lives. Hey, listen, I'm happy to do this every week. Mike, I'm not sure is happy to jump on and do these every week. You guys got to get us calls to break down, right? There's only been one stud so far, Joseph, that sent him in, and we're going to reward him for that handsomely. You'll see what's coming, but send me some stuff. No closes, hang-ups. I think there's a number of different apps you can just put on your cell phone if you're using that. If you're using CallSling's app, you can call right outbound from your CallSling app on your phone now. It's on Apple and Android now, and you can record your outbound calls right inside your CallSling number that you use for your agency. So send them in. We're happy to do this. I'll do this all day long. This is what I did for years and years and years when I ran car dealerships. So happy to do that. And then the gift discount. There's a question about the gift discount. So your irresistible offer, Mike, was a $1,500 off coupon.
Yeah,
and that's your irresistible offer that while they're scrolling through or wherever you're running into them, that's what gets them to give in their information. And essentially you're kind of passing that along on this call to let the end user know, hey, this is what we do. In high margin businesses like this gentleman's business, he understands the game. He understands that there's an offer there to get him to come in. So you got to understand, you got to explain what you're doing and how you're doing it, because you don't want to catch them by the wayside. You need to kind of explain how the funnel, if you will, and the process. You don't have to explain where you're getting them from. You can still keep that mystery alive, but the offer needs to be explained so they don't get blindsided.
Yeah, and it's also the frame. I'm telling them, here's the offer we're going to run. You're not going to decide. I already know how this works. This offer you're going to run.
Generate the lead. We run those ads on Facebook, Instagram. We use video ads. We show them, the Neograph. We use Neograph testimonials. That shows up in their newsfeed. Again, they fill out, sent to you in real time. Now, when it comes to what happens is once the lead submits, they go to a page that we build for you called a micro site. It's a one-page site, And on that, we actually have a phone number, which we will direct to you. We call it the NeoGraph Specialist line, and we push them to call up the office. So about 10 to 20% of the new patient opportunities are going to call into that line. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So not only are you going to get people inquiring, but you're going to get your phone ringing. And about 10 to 20% will call in, and all of those should practically be booked when they call in to book an appointment, as long as you guys are able to answer that. And that is pretty much it. Month one, obviously we set everything up and get rolling. When we roll into month two, what happens is we add the retargeting ad. So let's say month one, we generate 50 inquiries, 60 inquiries. Let's say you book 60 inquiries, you book half of them. There's still 30 that haven't booked in. We're able to follow up with them with retargeting ads on Facebook and Instagram. So anytime they log on, we show them ads that say, hey, call in, book your appointment. Here's some more testimonials of NeoGraph. And that's pretty much the program in a nutshell. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay.
How you generate them to me really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to their house with a gun and tell them to call us right now and they come into our office and buy, I could care less. If that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. I just need to know. I got to fit the cost into my business model and make sure it works.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't matter how we generate them, because if we're saying, hey, win a free trip to Vegas, that's going to be a different quality lead than if we're calling out the problem that they have thinning hair and saying, hey, here's a solution. Check out this video and opt in. So that's, we try to get a better, we do everything we can to get you a better quality lead and have them better framed when they call in, when you guys call them, right? I don't want to stick a gun to their head and say, call in, but I get what you're saying. So, I mean, that's what we do. Again, the offer that we run, up to $1,500 off, free consultation, and then you do your thing. You book a new patient.
Okay.
The way that it works, the package that I would recommend for you, and I recommend that we start off small. Again, the way that it works is we do minimum lead guarantees. We obviously shoot to get more. So the package that I would recommend is our 50 to 60. That's what I'm aiming to get. Obviously, if we get you more with the ad spend, we just keep it running, but we guarantee a minimum of 40 inquiries with that package. So the way that we charge, everything's included, completely turnkey. The budget that goes into Facebook, Instagram, all the different platforms, our management fee for managing the ads, setting everything up for you, installing our system basically into your business. Plus, on top of that, you have access to me as far as handling the leads, any questions you have, best procedures, you guys have access to me. All of that's included, and the way we charge is very simple. We charge $3,000 a month, and again, that's with the aim to bring you in those additional 8 patients. So $35,000 in revenue, $10,000 net, if those are your numbers. I don't know your margins, but that's what you're saying.
Check it out. You see this freaking amazing offer stacking. Kyle just said that. Yeah, great offer stacking right there. You listen to what he's doing. So one of the problems when you're just first starting out in sales is you tend to have diarrhea of the mouth. You tend to want to talk nonstop. And unfortunately, that doesn't help you. It helps you more to be listening, and active listening is what we call it, right? You're active listening. You're taking notes. Now, this is a phone call. I know I have it on a video. That's just so you guys can hear it here. This wasn't a Zoom meeting or anything like that. On a phone call, you're active listening. Like I've been sitting here, I have pages and pages of notes listening to Mike go right here, giving myself reminders, writing notes about what the prospect's saying. These are the types of things that you're doing when you're on a phone call such as this, a sales or prospect call. You're active listening. You're writing down the key points that are important to this business owner so that you can loop it back in upon the offer. The other thing that I want to point out that Mike did that more of you guys need to do, and there's a really good training video in, I think it's in the Facebook group, and it also might be in the training center as well, about crafting your perfect offer. I did this about a year ago, and it's exactly what Mike's doing right here. He's stacking on things that people don't necessarily put a price tag on when you sell them leads, But there's an intrinsic value when you can reach out to someone who carries himself like Mike does on this call, and that has, you know, been able to go tick for tat really on how you should be handling this call. He's taught the guy a few things about marketing. The guy didn't know that, you know, you got to answer a call in less than an hour. And so Mike just exponentially gave value to this guy. And so that value may not be something you necessarily are going to put a price tag. Oh, you know, you're being able to reach out to me is worth an extra $1,000 a month. But the guy understands there's a value there because this guy understands time. This guy only can do so many patients in a day. And so he understands, like, look, if this guy, I get to get this guy's ear if I need, there's a value there. And you'll hear other value stacks that he put, you know, upon if you rewound it and listen to some more of it. But those small things that you continue to add on equate out to really, really big things. And that's not even the core product, right? So don't forget, when you get to this point of making the offer, don't just be like, hey, you get 5 leads a day or 40 leads a month or unlimited, whatever your offer is, and leave it at that. Stack this thing like crazy with things that not necessarily you're valuing yourself or your business for, but still have an intrinsic value for an end user. It's very important. Like I said, refer back to that offer video because there's some good tips in there.
So that's essentially how we do things. The way the guarantee works, the performance guarantee, if at any time we don't get you that minimum lead total of 40, then we don't bill you until we can get that. And if we still can't get those 40 minimum leads after 60 days, then we actually refund you in full. So we take the risk that you're actually going to get real inquiries. Does that make sense? But obviously we're shooting to get you 50, 60.
Okay. All right. So $3,000 a month. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
For 40 prospects.
40 minimum.
Is that right?
So 40 is
Right.
the guarantee.
40 minimum, right? I got it. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's about $80
So, I mean,
a
if
prospect.
we can get you,
That's a good price.
yep. I mean, and I'm with the budget. I mean, the way it works is about a 60-40 budget. So I'm obviously going to take that budget and try to get you as many leads as possible. And every area is different. So I don't know how Oklahoma is going to react to it. You know, every area reacts differently. But hey, you know, we just launched something up in Pennsylvania, and it was a 40 lead minimum, and we've got, you know, 70 leads already, and they're not even done. So it depends. You know, sometimes it just depends. And to be honest, you never know how it's going to react until you throw it out there, and even that, it optimizes on these different platforms. But yeah, it's a 40. Does that make sense to you? So it's not like a per lead kind of thing, where once we hit 40, we kind of turn it off.
Right. It sounds very fair to me.
Me too.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, I'm busy.
So perfect. So I mean, we already started working on it.
That's an easy decision. I mean, people shouldn't make that a hard decision. That's a pretty fucking easy decision.
That's how I try to make it a no-brainer. So let me do this. We already started working on the campaign. We could have this turned on for you next week. What is the best email as far as the notifications that you guys want these coming into?
I'm going to need, you're saying I need to get on the phone with them within 3 minutes, right? So,
I mean, the sooner the better. I recommend 10, you know, like it's really as soon as you can get it in. But
right,
that
that's
is
what
like,
I'm saying. I just want to make sure that I'm thinking to myself, should I have, if it's only 40, which is maybe 1 or 2 a day, should I just have them sent to me and let me get on the phone with them and bring them in? The best appointment setter, salesperson, front office person, medical assistant, doctor is me, even though I'm not a doctor. And
absolutely.
I think I could, I would bring them in better than my current appointment setter. And if my appointment setter's on another call, I don't know. Can I have a day to figure that, to work through the logistics of that?
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
I want to make sure I got.
So check it out. Pretty classic. When you get down to buying, I found myself doing this yesterday when I did the sales call. I knew what they were going to close, and I wanted to kind of just see the game that the dude had. And he didn't have the game, but I was buying no matter what. So I still want to put him through it. But you hear this guy starting to now, oh, I got to talk to my this or my that, right? And Mike, the rookie move in a situation like this is when they say, can I do this? He's asking Mike for permission, right? You got to remember that. You can go one of two ways. You could say no, which is very jarring. No, you can't, right? Which, don't get me wrong, I've done it sometimes. It's sometimes when they caught me off guard, I thought the guy just 2 minutes ago said, this is a no-brainer, right? And now he's back. So this is common. The key here, guys, is keep it cool. This is pretty normal stuff. This is part of the buying process that people go through of, okay, I'm in, but I'm nervous. And so we'll see how Mike handles it. I haven't heard.
I just want to make sure I do it the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you could do it to yourself. Obviously, if you're handling it, I think you'll get the best results, and then you'll know how to, but I don't know how busy you are. If you're doing lots of other things and you want to make this kind of someone else's full-time job, then you just want to make sure that they're on top of it.
Yeah, I want to get, as you know, obviously I want to bring as many of them in the door as I possibly can. So let me just see if I can get that done with my existing appointment setter or not. I don't know. Maybe not. I just really need to work through the logistics of it and try to figure out if I want to trust him with that.
Got it.
So
so I'll fill that in as to be announced. And then what do you want for as far as the
Mike, talk us through what you're doing here.
So essentially what I'm doing here is just an assumptive close, classic close technique. I'm assuming he already bought, so I'm onboarding him right now. I'm just getting his details. I'm just acting as if this is done. All right, what's the email you're going to use? What's the phone number? Let's just he's bought the vehicle, right? He's bought, and I'm just, we're just setting it up. We're customizing his car for him, really. So we're customizing his website. So, and that's the key. Someone said, the energy is real low key. And that's how it should be. You want relaxed, calm energy throughout this, throughout the close. I think it was Jordan Belfort's training that went over that. But it's you don't want to be frantic with your energy. You want this to be certainty at the end is what wins, right? So I want to be certain, in control, but relaxed. And that's really what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah, I think too, one thing you guys need to know, I learned this when I sold motorhomes. Obviously, motorhomes it's not a small purchase, right? And I was taught in the automobile industry is don't fight them, write them, right? That was kind of the thing that they stuck in your head. Just don't. If someone says it's a $50,000 car and they want to buy it for $10,000, don't fight them. Just write them. Be agreeable. It's not your job to make the decision. So in this situation, the guy's saying, hey, I'm not sure if I want to trust this guy with this thing. He's starting to have some apprehension. And Mike says, okay, great. So I'm going to put you down as a TBA to be announced, right? And then he just keeps moving forward as if this is a sale and does not even let it phase him. So let's keep going.
The number is kind of forward to.
Yeah, and that is the next thing. He has two phones. He has one with a 405 number on it, one with a 918 number on it. So,
all right, so that's a to be announced.
I've got to figure out. I got to figure out which one I'm going to bring it into, because it's not going to be specific to the location. Correct?
I would recommend that. Yeah, we could start with both locations. I I recommend starting with one. He's got a bigger population, and just running from there, and then, is 643,000. Tulsa is 401. So really just start with that one location. That's where you'll get the exclusive on. And then obviously we'll run a 50-mile radius, which is what we run. And if they're closer to, then you could service that as well in your Tulsa location. That's kind of what I was thinking. And then if you want to scale, obviously after month one, what we do is we do a review call. And we figure out, okay, out of the leads, how many leads did we generate? Out of those, how many, what was our connection rate? What was the booking rate? What was the show rate? How many closed? And then from there, we could go, okay, let's scale up the budget. How many more leads do you want? How much more budget do we put in, kind of thing?
Right. Well, probably, I guess it doesn't really matter which location I bring them into.
Now he's talking himself into the sale. Just shut up at this point and let them go to work on themselves.
You know, I guess it doesn't really matter. I would, Tulsa's a little slower right now than, but we could bring them into, that's fine.
Okay. So what's the number for that? That'll be the inbound number.
I don't know it right off the top of my head because it goes to my appointment center, and that's all goes into, that all goes into that same thing I was just telling you about,
Okay. Got it.
So if I could just like I have, I could probably have it to you by this afternoon. I just need to sit down and think about it.
Yeah, that's no worries. I mean, if you need to get it to me by the kickoff call, that's fine as well. So that's the other.
I mean, I could definitely have it to you by Monday.
Okay, perfect. When is a good time for us to do a kickoff call then? Because what we'll do now is we'll schedule a kickoff call. I'm going to shoot you over the agreement, and then what I'll do is we'll get a card that'll lock everything in, and then I'll send you the welcome email. You get a welcome package. We'll do a kickoff call on Monday, and then as soon as we do that, we can really be up and running within 24, 48 hours.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. And all right. When do you want to do the start off call? Let's see. How about either Monday afternoon or Tuesday morning, one of the two. I could do it.
What's better for you?
On Monday afternoon, probably. Actually, Tuesday morning would. Tuesday
morning. Let's do. What is? You're on Central Time in Oklahoma, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so can you do 11 a.m. Central Time?
On Tuesday?
On Tuesday, yeah.
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. All right, perfect. I'm going to put you in for then. So
That's
going to be Greg Neograph, please. Okay, so I'll send you an invite for that. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shoot you over the agreement for everything.
Play a little House 90 here. Methodical. Busy at his computer right now. Preparing documents.
Okay. I just shot you over the agreement, and then what's the best card that you want to use? What type of card?
Ooh, there we go. Hear that? What's the best card for you to use, right? This guy just told him literally about 3 minutes ago that he needs to speak to his appointment setter. Mike kept moving with the sale as if he never even heard it, which every great salesperson never hears the word no. You just don't. It just doesn't even you delete it from your vocabulary. It's gone, and you just keep moving forward until they buy or they die. So that's kind of the mentality here. Keep going here.
I don't have any of my credit cards with me.
Also, another common objection. So let's see how it goes.
For the business, I keep them in my office. I want to use the one ending in 8040, which is my advertising company's credit card. I have my own advertising company, so I get a discount on.
Oh, nice.
On all the stuff that I buy media-wise. If you're an advertising company, you get 15%. So I run everything in my advertising company. But I can give you one of my personal cards if you need it right now.
Sure do.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I use a. Costs too much. All right. Looks like a Visa.
Okay.
4388.
All right, we bleeped it out, but this is a soup to nuts, exactly textbook sale that came from a cold email, the same way Mike, 60 days ago taught everyone cold to sold. He used that same exact blueprint, sends his emails out, right? Sends his emails out, gets responses, booking on his calendar, does a 2-step call to qualify and position. Second call, gets on the phone, does a great job of leading the call, being the cause, not the effect of the call, and also listening, right? I think Ipe just said it. Love how Mike stays silent in these moments, right? Because it's exactly right. The guy literally sat there and communicated with himself, and Mike never said a word. The guy's like, oh, I get this credit card at 15%, but you know what? You want my personal one? Mike's like, sure. Didn't say a word. So it's important, though, guys, that you guys are hearing this stuff because it will give you some confidence that it's okay to shut up and let them go through whatever they got to go through their head. You know, sometimes when people are buying, that's what they have to do is they got to put themselves through, you know, whatever, you know, Rolodex in their brain of cards and this person, that person, especially people that are running businesses. Great stuff. I'm going to cut the call there. There's nothing really left on that call, right, Mike?
I think it's edited out. So if they want to hear the very, very end.
Okay.
Expires 8/23.
Yeah.
Yep.
I cut that part out.
Okay, perfect. So I'll process that for the three grand, and I shot you over the agreements. Once you okay that, then you're locked in. You have the exclusive for Neograph as far as.
You bleeped out.
And then, where do you want the exclusive for?
Well, I guess what'd you say? You said you wanted to start. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So I'll give you. So we'll give you.
Yeah, that's actually pretty much it. Now it's just, you know, we say our goodbyes and hey, let's chat on Saturday or whatever we schedule the kickoff call for. But that was it. That was card in hand. Let them know that I processed it right then over the phone, and you know that's $3 grand in the account. Sale made.
There we go. So I want to close with this. I think this has been a fantastic call. It's cool to be able to see, you know, and be able to show you guys the inner workings of, you know, what Mike has laid out, you know, for his process that he's taught some of these people, some of the folks in the group, you know, the prospecting side of it. Obviously on Tuesday, he's going to come back and share with us the ad side of it. So how he actually guarantees those 40 leads. And someone asked, I saw in the chats, I saw someone ask, you know, hey, will this work for lead gen? Listen, I want to make sure we all are clear. This is lead gen. This is lead gen isn't just ranking on Google. Lead gen is any way that you can generate an inbound interest / contact / phone call for a business that lacks the ability to do it for themselves. That's what lead generation is. So whether you use the techniques that Mike's going to talk to us about on Tuesday, and he's going to have some upper level training, you know, that I'm going to allow him to offer to the group, you know, because I think it is a benefit. But look, guys, when you meld these two things together, when you're able to put in, you know, the Facebook ads and specifically the way Mike's able to pull it off without all the BS of the landing pages and some of the techniques that he's going to show you, and you're able to do that quickly, you're able to get a client landed and get leads coming into them within the next, you know, 24 to 48 hours. And this is, again, this could be in lieu of a lead gen property. Maybe you don't have one yet, and this is how you're going to start getting your foot in the door. Or maybe you have a lead gen property and you tack this on as second money. You know, there's a lot. You know, there's a lot of different ways to approach this. The other thing I asked Mike to do was on Tuesday was to come with some other techniques for us that he could show off that we can utilize to generate leads for ourselves, right? So being able to get a lead that's looking for a web design, looking for SEO, looking for lead gen just in general, looking for marketing and advertising. So we're going to touch on that on Tuesday. Now, I put in the Mike put together something for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and I'm grabbing it for you right now. I'm going to leave a link for you guys. It might already be in the description, but I just want to double check. We've taken the call and we've given you it, the entire call that you're going to go through today. Where is this thing? that you went through today. We gave you a copy of it with the transcriptions, so you guys are able to go back and highlight some stuff, mark it up. Obviously, this is one call. Every call is a little bit different. I just posted it in the Facebook group in the chat. You should see that right there. You go ahead and click on that. You got the transcriptions from Mike's call, and then you got the entire call where you can listen to it without me butting in every 2 seconds. And you'll also have a copy of this as well. On that same form, I've given you the ability, because we're not offering it quite yet. If you want to get on the early bird for Mike's stuff, he's probably going to be reaching out to you prior to. And based on how Mike kind of likes to do things, he's going to limit the first group to make sure that he's not overran. There's a lot of people in this group, and there's only one of him. And I have a whole staff that helps me, to take on questions and things like that as we go. So if you want to get on the early bird for Mike's stuff, just on that link I sent you, go through that. You can check yes if you want early bird. No, if not, we're still going to give you all the stuff. So no worries, no harm, no foul. Take advantage of that. And like I said, if you guys have sales conversations that you'd love to share with us, that we can do breakdowns for you guys and help critique, guys, you guys can get great at sales by being on these calls and by then going and practicing what we're kind of teaching you. And again, I do believe every one of you guys who's out there prospecting and speaking with people, you should be recording your stuff. You should be using it to go back to and break down. Every great pro athlete is doing this, right? Everyone has in different professions, law or medical, like there's oversight on what you're doing. There's people that review your work and critique your work. It's okay to be critiqued. As you can see, I think we do it in such a way that everyone's getting value, no one's getting beat up. That's not our intention. Our intention is to make you guys all better so you guys can thrive with all these skill sets we're training you guys, and go out there and freaking flip the bird to the man. Like, screw working for someone anymore. Screw making everyone rich. It's time that you guys get rich, and you're not that far away from it, okay? You're really not that far away from it. It's buckling in. It's probably honing in a few skill sets that maybe you didn't catch earlier on in life, and that's okay. This is what that time is for. This will be the best money you ever spent, not only with the JK group, but with Mike and anything that he comes out. I'm telling you guys, we've been doing this a long time. We're giving you everything we got. We're giving you all the cream of the crop skill sets, everything that we've learned over the last 10, 11 marketing together, and from all the people that we've also went to mastermind with and learned from. Guys, this is the stuff that I'm telling you, because I've been part of them. This is what $20,000, $30,000 masterminds do when you go and pay for them. And most of the time, those guys haven't earned nearly what we've earned in this space. So take every bit of what you're getting. Don't take it for granted, and go execute on what we taught you. Mike, anything to close?
No, glad you guys enjoyed today's phone call. But back onto what Dan was saying, actually, I do have something to add, which is you're only a couple skills away from, like, if your goal is to quit your job, you're only really a couple skills away from quitting it. So it's like, in my opinion, you have to learn how to prospect. You just have to, right? As you can see here, that's the skill that got him on the phone with me. Number 2, you got to learn how to sell. You have to learn how to sell. And number 3 is you got to have a service that you can deliver, whether that's lead gen or, in this case, it was Facebook ads. Maybe we might call it psychopathic ads, but essentially, you have lead sales and service for every business. And really, if you get good at those 3, you can write your own ticket. You take Dan, you take someone like myself, you strip us of all of our money, throw us out in a random city. I guarantee you, both of us will never have to ask to work for anyone ever. We have the skills to prospect, we have the skills to make deals, and we have the skills to fulfill on that. So, it's such a powerful thing when you can learn it. So for me, when I was learning these skill sets, there was, whether I had to pay 30 grand, I got onto planes, I flew to Australia. It was whatever it took so that I could learn those skill sets to not have to listen to other people and to be free. And I think it's a worthwhile goal in life to have that. And I'll leave you guys with that.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. I think Mike's going to maybe jump on potentially throughout the weekend, answer some more questions. I know this is a lot. Hopefully you guys took notes. Obviously, the replay's here. Go and grab what we prepared. We spent all day preparing, getting this stuff prepared for you guys, so you guys have some stuff to take away from this. And we're going to continue to do more stuff like this, very actionable stuff. stuff that we can train you guys on, stuff that you can take from these calls. I mean, we know that the Facebook group, ultimately, after you've gone through the training, you've learned the skill sets of what we train you here or what Mike's trained you. At the end of the day, this Facebook group and this community is what this is all about. So if we can continue to pass along the things that we've learned for you guys, there's no reason why we can't be all successful. The only thing that's going to stop you from it is if you quit. So don't be one of those people. No one likes a quitter. Peace.
So that right there, that's the live recorded $3,000 per month close. So I hope you got a lot of value out of that. In the next and final part, I'm going to show you how to do the actual service part of it. So in my the way that I think of business is every business is leads, sales, service. So I covered how to get the leads. That's with the cold email. That's with the education-based marketing, how to line up calendar appointments. We just covered the sales process with the audit call and the planning call. Finally, it's how do you deliver the leads? How do you get their phone ringing quick enough and use that to bridge the gap as you use their money to build your lead generation property. So with that said, I'll see you in the next video.